Hello and welcome to the May edition of Bridge to India's monthly update on renewable energy tenders, auctions, and policy announcements. In this video, we provide you a summary of all major tender and auction announcements from the month, besides policy updates from central and state agencies. Solar tenders aggregating 1,876 megawatt were floated in the month. SECI floated only one tender for 1200 megawatt of wind capacity. Maharashtra Discom MSEDCL was the second biggest tender issuer, floating two tenders aggregating 1000 megawatt capacity. 876 megawatt of the tendered capacity in the month was issued under the Kusum scheme. There was only one rooftop solar tender announcement in the month by Punjab. Auctions were conducted for 625 megawatt capacity by Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. Bid submission deadlines were extended for a total of 10 tenders. 3 solar tenders aggregating 1500 megawatt for Madhya Pradesh's Rewa Solar Park have been getting multiple extensions over the past year. Power from this solar park is meant to be procured by Madhya Pradesh Discoms and Indian Railways. Tender conditions like offtake guarantee and commissioning timeline extension have been modified to make them more palatable to developers. The deviations had to be approved by CERC, which led to the tenders being stuck for over a year. CERC has now approved most of the deviations and extended the bid submission deadlines for the 3 tenders. The 550 megawatt tender has a new deadline of 3rd June, while 450 megawatt and 500 megawatt tenders have deadlines of 10th June and 18th June respectively. We now expect a strong bidding interest for this tender. Bids were submitted for Central Coalfields 20 megawatt solar project in Jharkhand and SECI's 20 megawatt Leh solar storage hybrid tender. This chart shows monthly trend for tenders and auctions. Overall, market activity level remains subdued, continuing the trend set over last year. Lack of demand from discoms and delay in tying up PPAs is contributing to the slowdown. Now, let us have a look at notable tender announcements. SECI issued a 1200 megawatt ISTS Tranche 11 wind power tender. Power would be sold entirely to Madhya Pradesh Discoms. Transmission connectivity option is limited to 7 substations across Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. The last 1200 megawatt wind tender by SECI was met with an enthusiastic response, getting oversubscribed by 2.6 times. We expect market response for this tender also to be strong, although limited land availability near the selected substations may be a concern for developers. Maharashtra announced 2 pan-India tenders for 500 megawatt each for solar wind hybrid and solar projects respectively. For the hybrid projects, rated power capacity of each resource should be at least 33% of total contracted capacity. More and more discoms are showing a distinct preference for wind-solar hybrid projects due to their better capacity utilization and a more even power output profile. For the 500 megawatt solar tender, the financial eligibility criteria have been relaxed in comparison with previous SECI tender to encourage participation from smaller companies. The remaining 3 tenders have been issued under the Kusum scheme's component A, which aims to set up 10,000 megawatt of decentralized ground-mounted renewable power projects of up to 2 megawatt. Uttar Pradesh released a tender to develop 106 megawatt of solar projects. Bidders may set up solar projects ranging between 0.5 to 2 megawatt within a radius of 5 kilometers of the 24 selected substations in the state. Odisha and Madhya Pradesh have also announced similar tenders for 500 megawatt and 270 megawatt respectively. Farmers would have the choice to develop solar power plants on their own or lease their land to project developers. The only rooftop tender announcement came from Punjab Energy Development Agency, which issued a tender to develop 5 megawatt of rooftop solar capacity at various buildings across Punjab and Chandigarh. Tender scope also includes operation and maintenance services for 5 years. Depending on the capacities, the commissioning timeline would vary between 50 to 150 days. There were 3 auctions conducted in May. In Uttar Pradesh, UP NEDA concluded a 275 megawatt solar auction for projects to be developed in Kanpur and Jalon solar parks. This tender had a benchmark tariff of Rs 3. There was participation from only 2 bidders, both central government owned PSUs. SJVN was awarded 75 megawatt capacity at a tariff of Rs 2.68 for Parasan site, while REC PDC was awarded 2 projects 50 megawatt at Gujrai site and 75 megawatt at Gurha site at a tariff of Rs 2.69. Remaining 75 megawatt capacity has now been retendered by UP NEDA. Maharashtra also conducted an auction for 250 megawatt solar projects to be developed in Dondaicha Solar Park. The tender came with a benchmark tariff of Rs 2.83 and projects are to be developed in 3 blocks of 75 megawatt, 125 megawatt and 50 megawatt. Tata Power won the entire tendered capacity with a tariff bid of Rs 2.51. SJVN and NTPC were the other unsuccessful bidders. Lastly, SJVN was the winner in Gujarat's 100 megawatt auction for Raghanesda Solar Park based project. The project was retendered following cancellation of previous auction conducted in September 2020 when SJVN had won the project with a tariff bid of Rs 2.73. It has again won the project with a slightly lower bid of Rs 2.64, even though it would now not be eligible for change in law compensation for 40% basic customs duty expected from April 2022 onwards. That was the roundup for tender and auction announcements from May, and we hope you found it useful. Now let's take a look at important policy and regulatory updates from the month. Let's begin with updates from the central government. MNRE grants another extension for commissioning of renewable power projects affected by COVID. Solar and wind power projects auctioned by SECI, NTPC and NHPC have been granted another commissioning deadline extension considering ongoing COVID-related delays. The extension would be applicable only to projects with scheduled COD on or after 1st April 2021. The notification does not mention duration of extension, which is likely to be intimated later depending on COVID-related developments. This is the third order issued in the last 4 months for extension of commissioning deadlines. The extension would be a relief for project developers struggling with sharp cost increases and slowdown in all relevant activities. IREDA issues tender for production-linked incentive scheme for solar module manufacturing. The Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency floated a tender based on guidelines issued by MNRE for production-linked incentive scheme worth Rs 45 billion for solar module manufacturing. Preference would be given to companies that promise greater backward integration and higher production capacity. Companies must ensure minimum backward integration of cells to modules, at least 1 gigawatt of production capacity and minimum module efficiency of 19.5%. Bidders must also provide bank guarantees of up to 110 million rupees per gigawatt with validity up to the date of commissioning of their facility. Incentive would be disbursed annually over 5 years on the basis of capacity awarded or actual sales, whichever is lower. An additional incentive of 25 paise per watt would be provided for each 150 basis points increase in module efficiency over 20.5%. Companies must begin production within 1.5 to 3 years from date of sanction depending on the extent of backward integration. The tender document also indicates that the scheme would not follow competitive bidding as was touted before in the scheme guidelines. Selection would be based entirely on level of backward integration and production capacity. We suspect that the market response may be muted because of complex tender design, relatively small incentive and ambiguity in several provisions vis-à-vis the scheme document that was issued in April 2021. Central government approves production-linked incentive scheme for battery storage. The Union Cabinet has approved a proposal to implement a production-linked incentive scheme for manufacturing of advanced chemistry cell batteries. The government will offer incentives worth 181 billion rupees to set up 50 gigawatt-hour of manufacturing capacity over a period of 5 years. Participating companies would be required to set up a manufacturing facility with at least 5 gigawatt-hour capacity within 5 years, with a minimum investment of rupees 2.25 billion per gigawatt-hour. Details related to selection criteria, disbursement of incentive, and minimum technical specifications to be achieved are expected to be released in a few weeks. MNRE relaxes module procurement process under ALMM. MNRE has allowed developers to procure ALMM approved modules as on the date of invoice. Earlier, developers could place orders only for those modules that were approved on the date of bid submission. This is a positive change as it provides a little more flexibility to developers, but delays in approval of more suppliers could massively restrict choice and result in inflated costs. Ministry of Commerce and Industry initiates anti-dumping duty investigation into imported solar cells and modules. The ministry has initiated a new anti-dumping investigation for solar cells imported from China, Thailand, and Vietnam. The petition for probe was filed by Mundra Solar and Jupiter Solar. The investigation will cover 18-month period starting from July 2019 to December 2020. Initiation of yet another investigation into solar cell imports adds another variable to module procurement plans for developers. The application ignores the fact that project developers prefer imports despite additional duty costs because of their superior technology and limited capacity of Indian manufacturers. Another investigation creates more uncertainty amidst project viability concerns arising from safeguard duty and the proposed basic customs duty. MNRE reduces capital subsidy and tariff for PSU scheme. MNRE has amended guidelines for PSU solar power scheme by reducing tariff for sale of power to PSUs from Rs 2.8 to Rs 2.45 and maximum viability gap funding from Rs 7 million to Rs 5.5 million per megawatt. Commissioning deadline has also been increased to 30 months for all projects from 24 to 30 months as applicable previously depending on project size. At a time when module prices have been increasing sharply, the rationale behind reducing tariff for sale of power to PSUs and capital subsidy is not clear. Previous two tenders were heavily undersubscribed, and we believe that the new changes would not be attractive to project developers. Latest tender under PSU scheme was launched in January 2021 with 5 gigawatt capacity on offer. The last date for submission of bids for this tender was 31st May. So far, the response to CPSU scheme has been very poor. In the two tenders worth 3.5 gigawatt floated so far, only 1.7 gigawatt could be awarded. Now let's have a look at updates from the states. Odisha issues draft open access regulations. Odisha Power Regulator has proposed to exempt projects set up under third-party sale model from cross-subsidy surcharge. It has also proposed to restrict banking to 15-minute time blocks with no compensation for surplus power. The Commission has also proposed that all obligated entities shall submit power consumption and renewable power procurement of previous month by 7th of each month to ensure strict compliance of RPO targets. As of December 2020, Odisha had no major utility scale open access solar power project and only 62 megawatt rooftop solar power capacity. Exemptions offered in the draft regulation are expected to attract investment into open access solar. Odisha is an untapped open access market with huge potential as C&I consumers account for 85% of power consumed in the state. Haryana limits banking facility for 100 megawatt capacity. Haryana Power Regulator has heavily restricted banking facility for solar projects. Banking would be available only to 100% captive power projects with total capacity of 100 megawatts. Power may be banked until the end of financial year with a charge of rupees 1.5 per kilowatt hour, with banked power to be utilized between October and March during off-peak hours. No compensation would be offered to unutilized banked power. The Commission would further review provisions of banking after taking into consideration the financial impact on DISCOMs. The new regulation is yet another measure by Haryana to restrict growth of open access solar in the state. With this order, it has become the first state to put a limit on total banked power. Imposing rupees 1.5 per unit banking charge would also hurt attractiveness of solar power in the state, as landed cost of open access power would increase. Earlier, banking charge was levied as 5% in kind, which amounted to rupees 3 paisa per unit. Haryana issues draft solar power policy. Haryana has proposed a target to set up 1.6 gigawatt of rooftop solar capacity by 2025. In 2016, the state had set a target to add 1.6 gigawatt of rooftop capacity by 2022. No target has been set for any other project category. Tariff for projects over 2 megawatt capacity would be determined through competitive auctions, while others would be determined by State Regulatory Commission. For rooftop projects, a maximum system limit of 2 megawatt has been proposed. Banking would be allowed until end of the year, only 6 months for open access projects, but there would be no compensation for surplus power. There would be no size limit on open access projects that are set up to fulfill RPO targets. Projects would be exempt from fee related to land approval, infrastructure development charges and stamp duty, as well as requirement to obtain any environmental clearance. Projects set up by government-owned companies would be exempt from open access charges. All incentives would be applicable for 25 years. Haryana has been laggard in renewable sector. As per our research, total renewable capacity in the state is estimated at 306 megawatt rooftop and only 98 megawatt of utility scale as of December 2020. The new policy includes no measures that address regulatory hurdles to open access projects, and it is unlikely to spur any fresh private investment in utility scale or rooftop segment. However, it is attractive for public sector consumers looking to set up open access solar projects. Haryana issues guidelines for development of solar parks by private companies. New and Renewable Energy Department of Haryana has allowed private companies to set up solar power parks of a minimum 50 megawatt capacity. Companies would be required to complete the solar parks within 24 months of approval by HAREDA. But the solar park developers would not be eligible for any capital subsidies or allowed to hold equity in any solar project within the park. The objective of these guidelines is not clear, and these are unlikely to spur development of solar power parks due to various regulatory hurdles in the state. That concludes the summary of key tender and policy updates from May 2021. We hope you found this update useful. You can view all tender, policy and regulatory information on the renewable sector in real time at India RE Navigator, a one-stop market intelligence portal for renewable sector. You can also write to us at market.research@bridgetoindia.com if you have a query or feedback. We would love to hear from you. We'll be back next month with another update. Until then, goodbye and take care.